Hello, everyone. It's Mark from This Is the Music, and welcome back to another episode of the This Is the Music Meets podcast, the podcast where I dive deep into the stories behind the rising bands and artists shaping the indie scene. Before we get started, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, as it really will help the podcast grow and support the artists and bands that I feature. Right then, let's get into it. It's episode 176, and I'm joined by rising solo artist Connor Adams to talk about his debut EP Traffic Lights, festival season, his recently announced London headliner, and much more. So, Connor, welcome along to the This Is the Music Meets podcast. It's great to have you on. You've obviously had an incredible few months with the release of your debut EP Traffic Lights, plus the support as well that you've had from BBC Introducing and John Kennedy, sold out London headliner, and praise as well from one of indie rock's or rock's biggest names, I should say, as well, which we'll come on to in a little bit later. But how are things going right now in the Connor Adams camp?
What an introduction. Thank you so much. Things are great, mate. Yeah, things are really, really good. We're just hitting June, but I've already played a handful of festivals, and we've got a lot more to come. But they're just my absolute favorite thing, and it makes them even more enjoyable by having new music out to be playing on these big stages. So yeah, it's going pretty fast, and there's a lot of plates to keep spinning, but I'm enjoying all of it. Yeah, loving it.
Brilliant, that's great to hear. And yeah, I guess to use that word there, you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, then I guess really what would be the point in kind of like carrying on with it, really. But I guess really because some people, this is the music listeners, podcast listeners, sorry, might not have come across you before, Connor. So for anyone that is in that sort of situation, just tell us like a little bit about yourself and kind of like how your musical journey began.
Yeah, sure. I'm from Suffolk, and it's a very, very quiet town here. There's bits and bobs going on, and I picked up the guitar at the age of 8, and throughout the years, I've always written songs, even from the age of 8, as I say, and slowly, slowly, just kind of stepping up, and then kind of branching into London and trying to get up to Manchester and places as much as possible, but. Yeah, I've been releasing music, I'd say properly for the last 8 years, I'd say. Stuff that I'm really proud of. Um, and yeah, I guess I don't think genres exist anymore. But if I was to put mine on something, it is massively indie. I'm obviously a singer-songwriter, as you say, 'cause I'm a solo artist, but I do perform with the band, and that's how it sounds on the record. I love going to watch bands play, and that's how I love my music being um, represented. And yeah, it's like an indie rock. There's elements of singer-songwriter, folk, pop. But yeah, no, I guess new inspirations are people like Sam Fender, and old inspirations are, Stereophonics. Yeah, so I'm somewhere in that in that ballpark if there is one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there that I think sometimes people can be quite quick to sort of like pigeonhole, especially like emerging artists into a sort of a genre, which I think, I can understand it, but also as well, I think you've got to allow that artist to develop the sound. But something that you did just say there that you've been writing songs since you were 8, right? That's
Yeah,
blown me
not
away.
very good ones to start with, Mark. Not very good ones. Getting slowly better.
I was gonna ask, I was gonna ask you, have you ever thought about like revisiting any of them, like or elements of the, maybe like lyrics that you've somehow worked into one of your, obviously said that you've been sort of performing and releasing music now for about 8 years. So have you ever
Yeah.
thought about trying to build something in?
To be honest, mate, I even like stuff I've written a year ago, I kind of have um, a funny way of just kind of once that song's done, it's done for me. I don't know if you get this a lot from the artists you interview, but the the most current song that you're working on, or the newest song you've written, is the one you're kind of most excited about, and it's just for me, yeah, kind of going back. I'm sure there will be times where I come back to some stuff, even if it's like not the whole song, even if it's just a guitar part or a lyric from here and there that I'll take back and use somewhere else. But I'm kind of always pushing for the next thing. I think I don't know if that's a good thing for me or not, but I like to kind of keep going along rather than going back, you know.
Yeah, no, I think that is a good thing because you have got to. There's nothing wrong with looking back, for definite, but I think, yeah, you have got to keep trying to go forward, and I guess that must be one of the things that is quite difficult, really, for artists that you can be sat on a song for a little while that you may have written, and get it with all the, the recording time and obviously the cost of that, and you could be sat on it for ages, but also as well, the other side, you've got to keep trying to relentlessly promote if you have got a new, song, or, it could be an EP like yourself that you had earlier on in the year. So it is obviously I guess, a difficult, like balancing act to try and manage.
It is, mate. Yeah, and you kind of touched on it there, like the what people don't think about is like the financial side of it. So like, um, I'd love to be able to record everything I write properly in a proper studio, but that studio time isn't cheap. And as a solo act, I've got session musicians that come into play. So I get my songs to a demo standard the best I can, and then I really, really think about the ones that I'm going to go in and spend money on. I've got to truly love them, and they've got to truly work for the project. There has been a few times, like with the Traffic Lights EP, there's a couple of tracks that I had recorded, mixed and mastered, which you spend a bit of money on, and then a few months later, I thought, you know what, these ones don't actually fit. So that's happened on the rare occasion, but yeah, it's you have to take your shots when you can, I guess. You have to think it out.
Definitely, and you just mentioned there, Connor, about sort of a couple of the, maybe the genres or sort of the band sounds that you kind of like fall into with Sam Fender and Stereophonics there. But sort of, what other bands or maybe artists sort of like inspired you to first pick up a guitar and obviously to start writing as well?
It's just rock bands. My mum and dad would always be playing rock artists, a lot of American rock. The one that comes to mind always, and you ask any of my family members, it's always Foo Fighters. My dad has played every album of Foo Fighters on every car journey, and I'm not complaining. It's still that way now. Whenever we share a journey, it's Foo Fighters playing. I remember seeing them at their first ever Wembley Stadium show. We were up in the gods, and I was yeah, I was blown away by them. And the Darkness we saw a lot because we're got a relation to them within the family. So when they were smashing it of the Permission to Land record, we went to see them a bunch, and people like Ash were supporting them. And yeah, I was just thrown into rock, and then I started learning guitar because of these amazing bands, and then couldn't make a band around me. I didn't know guys that were playing. I was from this little village called Great Cornard, and so I naturally lent into the singer-songwriter because I could stand on my own 2 feet with just an acoustic guitar and a vocal.
Yeah, right. Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit. Well, sort of I was going to say to the present day there, but I really want to talk about the debut EP, or the second EP, sorry, Traffic Lights. It really is a fantastic EP, a great body of work that you've
Oh,
got
thank
there.
you.
Um, Obviously, as I say, it came out in March, so obviously a few months ago now. Looking back now, how proud are you of the record and kind of like what it's achieved for you as an artist?
Yeah, it's I'm not very good at kind of what am I saying? Focusing on how well things have done, but I guess it is a great thing. I'm really proud of it, and I've never had this much attraction on radio and social media, and that's really translating to the shows I'm putting on as well, which is amazing. And I love that because you've got to love everything you put out, but I truly, truly love this Traffic Lights record, and it's exactly it represents me exactly where I'm at right now in terms of sound, in terms of what the songs are about, and yeah, it just the biggest thing for me, because I've released an EP before. Um, I struggled to kind of have continuity, and I think that was because I didn't find my sound. I didn't know what my sound was then. Um, and the Traffic Lights record, I literally wrote the track. There's 5 tracks, and I wrote them in order, and it was really, really fun. And I just kind of hit that writing spell, which comes once in a blue moon. A lot of the time you hit the wall, but I come up with the name first, Traffic Lights, and I just love the concept of how life can be. You're waiting for something to happen as an artist. You're waiting for gigs to come in. You're waiting for somebody to listen to or put your song on a playlist. And then sometimes you can be in the green zone where it's like, oh my God, how do I manage everything, juggling? And I'd love that concept, and I just knew exactly what this record had to be.
Yeah, wow. I'd never actually, yeah, never actually thought that that was the reason for the title, and then
Right.
that, yeah, that explanation there. I found that quite fascinating, to be honest. And I am going to shoot myself in the foot a little bit here because we were talking before about not pigeonholing artists into sort of like a genre. But there is obviously a little bit of sort of anthemic indie rock within the EP, within Traffic Lights, but it's sort of blended in as well there with sort of like very honest, and it feels to me anyway like lived in storytelling as well within the lyrics. Was you said there that obviously you wrote the song, the 5 tracks in order? Was that sound and sort of like the honesty, was that always the vision for the project, or did that just, you mentioned there that it you was in a golden period, and it did it just come naturally, or did you set out and go, right, this is what I'm doing, and this is the, this is where we're going with it?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's a bit of both, if I'm honest. I don't hope that's not a cop-out answer, but as I say, I knew what the record had to be, and I knew who I was. I know who I am as an artist now. I know that them things you just mentioned there of anthemic indie, but also with that real closeness of storytelling that singer-songwriters have. Um, so yeah, I knew what it was, and it was just so clear to me. Sometimes I think that was what was great about knowing that this was going to be an EP and not just a standalone single, because I had a body of work to work on, and I was just so clear of what this whole record meant to me, and I knew what it meant to me in terms of sound as well. Kind of last few years been playing some really, really fun shows, and the live sound is something that I really, really wanted to capture on record for present day for me, like having that sound where people can come to my show, watch the show, and then when they go on Spotify, it just, it actually makes sense of, yeah, that was exactly how he sounded live. So yeah, it was lovely to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, so obviously you mentioned there, but as I say, I keep coming back to it, that you wrote the sort of 5 songs in the order that we're hearing them, sorry, on the EP. So with that, then you sort of essentially, would it be fair to say maybe approached the songwriting different for the EP in comparison to sort of like those standalone single releases?
Yeah, yeah, I think so because, you know, the 5 tracks have all got to stand on their own 2 feet, and it's got to be dynamic for the listener without sounding too cheesy or whatever the word is. You got
We'll go with that.
you're not allowed to. I wanted to take listeners on a journey. That's the whole awful thing to say, but I said it. So I wanted there to be dynamics, and I wanted there to be space, and I wanted there to be times where, you can picture yourself playing this packing out a tent at a festival, or you can picture times playing this around the fire with your mates. So yeah, that's what was different. It forced me to think about the dynamics and think about the journey I'm taking people on listening to this.
Sounds like we're on X Factor.
Oh, I know, mate. My cat's dying as well.
Brilliant, love that, love that, and I just really sort of want, I guess, like, I guess they are the focus tracks, maybe without that's not taking anything away from the other 3 tracks on the EP. But obviously you put 2 singles out, kind of like before the EP
Yeah.
came out, Freaking Out, and Rush Hour. They received support from BBC Introducing, and obviously John Kennedy as well. How important was that backing for you for the EP, but also as well, sort of like, I guess, as a broader sort of like where you are as an artist, I guess like pushing you out there as an artist, getting that I guess, bigger local and obviously national airplay.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? Absolutely huge. I don't really think about where these songs are going to go when I'm writing them. But, when you get things into prep like music videos and artwork, and you start getting your press releases together, you think, oh, I'd proper love this song to be playing on this radio station. So yeah, it's massive. It's absolutely massive, and it's I'm super appreciative of it. And as an independent, unsigned artist, that it's a massive thing to be able to say that your song that you've written in your bedroom is now being played on this national radio station. It's massive. And it's great for the shows as well that you have on sale, and it's just great for people to discover an unsigned artist.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know what your first song was that you ever had played on like the radio, but I guess I'm kind of going to imagine what that buzz was for that. Do you still get the same buzz now when your songs are being played on the radio?
Massively, massively, massively. If not more. I think the further I get along in this journey, the more I love what I'm writing, and the more I want people to hear them. So the excitement never goes away for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And is there a particular track on Traffic Lights that feels, maybe a little bit more personal or maybe like a little bit more important to you?
Um, I know that my favorite track off of the record is Slam the Brakes. It was really inspired by like Mazzy Star, a lot of 90s bands, and yeah, it just felt really nostalgic to me. And it was, if I was to, I don't really listen to my own music, but if I was to put one on the car, it would be Slam the Brakes. And I've just started playing it live. It's really spacious, and I guess you could call it a acoustic ballad vibe. It's um it's a real welcomed change to the set. I've come to realize that, when you're the dynamics that I was thinking about for this EP also translates to the live set. And when you're playing these big festival stages, it's very easy for you to just pick 6 or 7 tracks that make the crowd dance or make the crowd sing along. But for me, just already by playing like the handful of festivals I've already played, the Slam the Rakes is a massive standout track, and it's really really fun to play. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, great. And great to hear as well that the story behind that and sort of how, the inspiration as well for Slam the Breaks as well. But let's just come on to live music now because as part of the release for Traffic Lights, you played an EP launch show at the Lower Third in London, sold out, fantastic achievement. So congratulations on that.
I think
What was the night like from your perspective?
you know what? It was quite nerve-wracking because I hadn't played the whole EP live. I'd only played the singles at that point, and you just don't know how songs are going to go down that you haven't played live. But I felt a bit nervous about it, and as soon as you play the first chord to the first song, then the nerves go, and you just feel really excited. But it felt brilliant. Obviously, when I've written these songs, a lot of the time I'm thinking about, wow, can't wait to play this live. So when that's going to be that was the first moment of me doing that. So it was like, a bit of a milestone, and it was just great. It was brilliant. I think about that night a lot, and I just can't wait to get back on that stage. Or got some London stuff coming up, but really hone in on this set and play live as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely. And was there like a moment when it really hit home just how many people had come out to support you? Maybe there was a chorus being sung back or maybe just like the reaction to a particular song. Was there I I guess not really necessarily like hitting home for you as such, maybe like a connection or something like that with one of the songs?
Yeah, absolutely. The last track on the EP is like an acoustic folk record, and it's called Dreaming. And I played that. Um, whilst, I guess 60%, 70% of the set is indie anthemic. And I played that one and I was like, oh, I hope people, enjoy this, because it's a massive drop in dynamics and yeah, the whole room was silent for it and I could almost unplug. Um, and it just felt really, really special and kind of um, really memorable. Really, really loved playing that one.
Yeah, okay. So away from your own gigs, looking ahead for the summer and what's coming up, really in the next sort of couple of weeks for you, because you're playing at some huge festivals. You've got Halo Festival, and the Isle of Wight Festival as well over on the This Feeling stage. How excited are you for festival season this year?
Can't wait. Can't wait. It's my favorite thing ever. I love just rocking up to the stage, plugging in, little sound check, make sure everything's working, and then just cracking on. I absolutely love it. Get to play the show, and then you go watch other bands with a beer and discover new artists, and then your favorite artists that you can't believe they're there as well. It's just brilliant. I think the UK does festivals so well. It's such a culture for us, isn't it? Live music and these festivals. Um, and it's also, as I mentioned just there, like I love the speed of it. I love
Mhm.
I love that you can just rock up and play. Whereas if you're loading it, if you've got a headline show, you're loading in at the venue at 3 and you're not on stage till 9:30. So 6.5 hours where you're just like, come on, let's get going. But no, yeah, those stages they're quite big stages, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can imagine, and obviously Halo Festivals concentrate on that one a little bit first. It's got a
Yeah,
very impressive lineup in case people are not aware of it. You've got Two Door Cinema Club. There's the vaccines and sort of scouting for girls as well. Three, really very well known artists with some fantastic songs and great for a festival crowd for sure. How special is it for you, Connor, to be involved or to have your name on a poster and obviously to be involved on a festival stage like that?
so special. It's obviously in Suffolk where I'm from as well, so
Mhm.
that's going to be a really proud moment. I knew people had bought tickets to this festival, and I didn't. I kind of knew that I was playing it, but it wasn't 100% confirmed, so I didn't want to say, "Oh, I'm playing that," in case it didn't happen. So I was just going along with them, being like, "Yeah, yeah, sounds great, great lineup." So no, it'd be cool to see some mates there and family there. But yeah, as you say, in a two-door cinema club, I mean, they are absolute legends, and they play all the major festivals, have done for years now, and it's buzzing to be on the same lineup as them, and all of them. To be fair, there's Suffolk has some amazing artists, and they're only getting stronger. And this is the first year of Halo Festival. And obviously with Ipswich Town football doing so well, I think Suffolk's in a really, really great place now, and hopefully we can build on making the town full of live music. This is the best chance we'll have, I suppose, with all these things coming up. So if you can't do it now, when can you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's the other thing as well, because obviously Suffolk's quite a big county. Just as you saying that that's the first year of the festival, it sort of seems a little bit sort of strange. I live in Essex, but it seems a
Yeah.
little bit strange that there isn't a festival that's been going for a little bit longer. I mean, that could just be because of my lack of knowledge, maybe. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that there
Yeah,
isn't
there's
already another
Latitude,
festival.
which
But
is
oh, of
obviously a
course, yeah.
massive one, but that's quite far, a Southwold way, in terms of being close to Ipswich, which is probably the most popular
Mm.
town in Suffolk. This is the biggest one I think they've done. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. There should definitely be more.
Yeah, no, why not? Why not? There's loads of bands who want to play and have that sort
Absolutely.
of experience, and why not? Indeed, but it was mentioned as well. Obviously, the Isle of Wight Festival as well looks like another incredible lineup, and I think it's fair to say that for many artists and bands, it's a bucket list, festival to go and play. I think you have played there before. I think I'm right in saying, but how does it feel as well to have your name up on that festival stage as well?
Yes, it's incredible. You can't get your head around it really. That was my first ever major festival I've ever played. and we were on a really early slot, and you can imagine like the expectations. You've been thinking about this moment to play it, so it was brilliant. It's still one of my favourite gigs we've done to date. But, second time round, you know how things are set, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I can't wait, especially with the music I have out now as well. Just want to make the set as great as it can be.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to have a great time, and everyone that's going to catch your set as well. I'm sure we're going to have a great sort of half an hour or so, or however long the
Yeah.
sets are over at this feeling this year. But sort of bringing it back to you in terms of the live music, we're recording this episode on a Monday, so last Friday you announced your second London headline show of 2026. You're going to be playing at the historic and iconic Hope and Anchor in Islington. You're going to be playing on the 24th of September. And for anyone who wants to grab a ticket, the link will be in the episode bio. Yeah, first of all, how excited are you to be, second headliner of the year in London, as I say, and how excited are you to be coming back to the capital?
Oh, so excited. So excited. Thanks for that plug. It's very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. No, really excited. I've played that once, the Hope and Anchor, and I couldn't believe how many artists have played that beforehand. I was blown away. Um, yeah, really excited. It's right at the end of this crazy run of festivals I have this summer. So it feels like the perfect way to kind of
Mm.
cap it off.
Yeah.
Taking that energy from them festival stages and putting it into that little venue is going to be really special. And I just can't wait. It feels really exciting to have another date on sale. I really love London, and I just really want to start building and going from step to step in terms of the venue sizes and the show itself. So yeah, I think the word is excited. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, definitely, and you are right as well about the all the various artists that have played there over the years. I must admit, I've never, in all the years that I've been going to gigs, I've never actually been to the Hope and Anchor. I guess I've got no excuse now on the 24th of September for not attending, and I will be going to grab myself a ticket actually once we finish recording tonight. But
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
just in terms of like the show itself, maybe for people that haven't come and seen you live before, what can they expect? What's Connor Adams gonna deliver on the night?
Yeah, so it's me with a full band, but there's still very much moments of it being me as a singer-songwriter. So we can go from real intimate moments, and then we can go from, festival indie anthemic sounds. Um, but yeah, I'm really lucky to have these musicians playing around me as a solo act. They're fantastic. They're some of the best musicians in Suffolk, and yeah, it's just going to be. I think it's the same as anything you do. It's the same as anything you do. The more you do it, the kind of oiled the machine gets, and the set is getting really, really tight. And we've got some surprises in line, which I can't talk about, but they're going to be really fun. Some first time things that we're ticking off. So yeah, it's going to be special. It's going to be really, really special.
That actually, I'm laughing there, not because that was actually going to be my next question. What
Sorry
was there
about
gonna, I was gonna, no, it's fine, not a problem at all. Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's gonna be any new music, but I guess the answer is come and grab a ticket and you'll find
that.
out, right?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'm always thinking of ways to kind of how can we elevate these shows, and we kind of have some ideas. But yeah, you might have been in the right direction there.
Well, as they say, watch this space, right?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
So we obviously mentioned earlier on about the support that you've had from John Kennedy over at Radio X and obviously BBC introducing as well. And the next question that I'm going to ask, when you did touch on a little bit earlier on, but there's another person who's obviously been singing your praises. He's a big artist or part of a big band from Suffolk as well, in Justin Hawkins of the Darkness. How did you find out that you'd featured on the Justin Hawkins Rides Again podcast?
I actually got a DM from a friend of mine saying, "Did you know you've just been mentioned on the Justin Hawkins podcast?" I was like, "What?" So I went straight to it, and lo and behold, yeah, he was chatting about me, and I think anyone that's watched his podcast is just he's just so interesting. You know,
Mm.
you can listen to him for hours. He's a world of knowledge in there, and lovely, lovely guy, and one of the best musicians, vocalists, guitarists going. So to have his praise is really, really special.
Yeah. Does it feel like, in a way, a bit of a surreal moment as well, knowing, some of the achievements that, the Darkness have had? Obviously, they've played Nebworth, massive other like shows as well that they've done like under their own steam, and obviously big albums as well, and sort of number one or certainly top 10 records in the charts as well. Does it feel surreal that knowing that he's listened and sort
Yeah,
of, name checked you on his podcast?
absolutely, mate. It's that Permission to Land record they put
Mm.
out with, I believe, in a thing called Love. You know, it's just an absolute smash. That's a no skip album, front to back. That is fantastic. And then yeah, they're so good live as well. They're one of the best live bands I've ever seen. So to get praise from them is just amazing. You know, there's no better role model there for me to be inspired by.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm right in saying that you've supported the Darkness as well. Have I got that correct?
Yeah.
How did that come about? And what was that as a result of being on the podcast, or was that just a completely sort of, separate thing?
Yeah, that was a separate thing a little earlier on in my career, and it was really, really good fun, and it was quite nerve-wracking because it was myself and an acoustic guitar. I was just playing a solo support, obviously, when supporting them when they come on stage. A huge rock, glam rock, full production, and then there's me just with this little acoustic guitar, singing my songs. But it was brilliant, and they watched every set of mine. You know, when they didn't have to, when they're obviously preparing for their own show in about 30 minutes time. So it was really lovely, and they gave me advice. And I think just being on stages that big, playing to crowds that big, is just it's a great way for me to learn, and I was really fortunate for the opportunity. Um, but yeah, no, it's definitely some of the biggest stuff I've done supporting the Darkness for sure.
Yeah, memories to last a lifetime, as well. And what a fantastic opportunity, and nice to hear as well, actually, that they hung around and sort of caught your set as well, because sometimes I'm not sure that
Mhm.
more. How can I put it? I don't want to be like seems that I'm slagging anybody off or anything like that, because
No, not at
everyone
all.
does things differently. But sometimes some of these more established bands don't hang around or don't check out the support. So really nice to hear actually that they did do that, because I think that's, that they were in that position that you are now at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, great to hear that they were, doing that. And sure, if there's other bands or artists that get an opportunity, that they'll be there, with the Darkness, that they'll probably be doing exactly the same thing. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? I think. You know, it is a bit of a weird time just before you go on stage. There's so much, especially for a vocalist like Justin that has to be hitting them notes. You know, you've obviously got to be really well warmed up. So yeah, it means the world, and I wasn't expecting them to. I'd be fine with them not to watch the set, but the fact they did is really really cool.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, Connor, on every This Is the Music Meets podcast, I like to finish with a quick fire round. So, the first question, nice and straightforward, just to sort of break us in gently. Uh, it could be famous last words, to be fair. But tea or coffee?
Coffee, I'm a coffee drinker, but I do like tea. But
Yeah.
if I had to choose coffee.
How do you take your coffee? You black, you milky? What's your go-to?
Just touch of milk, and this is very niche. I have a teaspoon of honey in my coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that does that help with the vocals or anything? Is that a
No
reason
idea.
that you just like?
No idea. It's just the way I've always had it, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, I just love it. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's
There
lovely.
you go.
Nice being a honey.
Connor Adams coffee recommendations right here. It's what
Here
we
we go.
like. Can you, this is probably quite a tough one to be honest, but what is the best venue that you've played at so far?
God. Oh wow. What a question. Um, 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 um. I think the best venue in terms of like the best experience I've had playing it, or like the venue that I was just like kind of wowed by.
Oh, mate, he's turned the tables.
Firing back, mate.
Let's go with the venue that you've enjoyed like playing at the most in terms of
Okay.
like the I guess maybe like the best gig that you've done.
I played the Norwich UEA a few years back, and obviously, it's not too far from home, and I'd seen so many bands there that I absolutely loved, and I always wanted to be on that stage. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
Nice, nice. Yeah, good venue from what
Yeah,
I've
really
heard
cool.
anyway. I've never been. Again, this is another tough question, so I do apologize in advance. What are your top three albums of all time?
Um, the ones I always go back to are In Rainbows by Radiohead, um, Wasting Light by Foo Fighters, and let's get a recent one in there. Oh God, I'm gonna go with Sam Fender's 17 Going Under record, his second album. Yeah, I mean all of his albums are great, but I love the second record.
Yeah, great. Love those choices. Brilliant. If you could have an after dinner party with anybody, who would be your three guests that you could bring that you'd invite along?
Wow, what a question. Who would I bring along? That's a fantastic question. I think I would invite. If I didn't choose Dave Grohl, my dad would kill me. So Dave Grohl has to be one of them. Uh, who else do we have? Who else do we have? Um, the I can't remember her last name. Is it De Moldenberg? Amelia De Moldenberg, I think her name is. She does the Chicken Shop Date podcast, and she's really, really funny. I think she'd be great as a dinner guest. And Shania Twain, just because Miss Shania Twain, I think she'd be great.
Wow, I wasn't expecting the last one, I have to say.
Yeah, you got to mix it up. You got to keep it fun.
Definitely, absolutely. Okay, so with festival season obviously well and truly upon us now, what are Connor Adams's top tips for festival goers this year?
Ooh, get down early to see the unsigned independent artists. Find them stages as well, because you never know who you're going to discover. And a lot of the time, they're in shade, which is good if the weather's
Definitely,
up
yeah.
and down. I mean, it sounds really obvious, but just have as much fun as you can because, summer goes so quick and you never know what's going to happen in life. And for me, watching live music or watching live sport are my two favorite things to do. So to be watching live music and to actually be there in the moment, try and take it in as much as you can. Just enjoy yourself. That's my advice. Just enjoy yourself. Have the best time you can. That's it.
Definitely, definitely. You obviously just mentioned sports there. I believe you are an Ipswich Town sort of supporter. Do
Yeah,
you
of
think
course.
that Ipswich are going to stay up next season in the Premier League?
Of course we are. Of course we are. Let's get some positivity going with it. We've been through it before. You'd hope second time round, recently anyway, that
Mm.
the boys would know what they're doing this time round, and who knows? Who knows? It's such a whirlwind of a league, and it's obviously a big challenge for them. But I'm hopeful. I think the town will back them, and really excited to see how they do. Really
Yeah,
excited.
good manager as well, Kieran McKenna that you've got there, and yeah, good luck to him, and obviously to
Brilliant.
yourselves, the Ipswich Town fans, for trying to stay up in the league next year. sort of think you've got a good chance. You certainly play the right way in terms of the football, in
Absolutely.
my view. But finally, Connor, for anyone listening to the podcast who maybe hasn't discovered you and your music yet, why should they go and check out Traffic Lights?
Um, they should go check out Traffic Lights because it is exactly how I was feeling in that moment, and it's exactly how I want to represent myself as an artist. And if that's what you like, that's what it's always going to be because it's always that is, quintessentially me. And it's something I'm super proud of, and I've been doing this for a while, and I can honestly say that it is my best work to date. So yeah.
Brilliant, great stuff. Well, you heard it here first from Connor exactly why you should go and check out his new EP, Traffic Lights. The link to that will be in the episode bio. But Connor, that unfortunately does bring us to the end of episode 176 of the This Is the Music Meets podcast. Thank you for coming on to the episode and sharing your story because it has been absolutely fantastic, and I've really enjoyed finding out a little bit more about you personally as an artist. But before I do let you go, can you let the This Is the Music listeners know what social media platforms they can find Connor Adams on?
Oh man, thank you so much. This has been brilliant, and thank you for all you do for unsigned independent artists. There's not a lot of them out there in the world, so it's very, very, very grateful for you, and thank you so much. I think that's as a collective for all us independent artists. But yeah, if you want to go follow my journey, it's at Connor Adams Music, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and I'm on all streaming platforms as well, so you'll be able to find me there.
Brilliant, great stuff. Thank you as well for your very generous and kind words about what This Is the Music is trying to do. Much appreciated. And look, those links for your socials are going to be in the episode bio as well, along with the ticket link as well for the Hope and Anchor gig on 24th of September. Connor, look, thanks again for coming on to the podcast. Look, good luck as well with festival season and obviously as well with the upcoming London headline gig as well that we just mentioned, which, as I say, I should be there for. Good luck with it, enjoy it, and I guess as well up Ipswich Town, right?
Up the tail, mate. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 176 of the This Is the Music Meets podcast. If you're new around here, please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, as it really will help the podcast grow and supports the bands and artists that I feature. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon for another This Is the Music Meets podcast. And remember, the future is bright, the future is indie.